Hello, this is Hellbent, and welcome to the third and final follow-up video for tutorial 1 in my AutoHotKey tutorial series. In the last follow-up video we went over all the mouse move commands. In this one we're going to continue on and do all the click commands. So go ahead and get yourself set up with your script editor, and I'm going to make a new file. Okay, I guess that's already here. And I'm going to save it to my AutoHotKey tutorial folder. And I'm going to call this one Click Commands. Save it. During the mouse move one, I had shown you how to make a description comment at the top of your page, basically with your name, the date that you started it, the last edit, and a brief description of your program. So go ahead and pause the video and add that in. The description you should use it. This is all the click commands for AutoHotKey. And once you have that, go ahead and unpause it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom of our page, and we are going to bind some hotkeys. We're going to have X to exit our app. Below that, we're going to have Z to pause. And then just above the first X, we're going to actually have it exit on its own in the one instance that it's actually going to do that. But it's only going to be one time that it actually uses that, I know. But yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. Under your description, you're going to go over a few little bit and make a comment. And these comments are going to be for all of our commands that we're going to be going over. So the first one is going to be click. Well, click, and then in brackets we're going to have basic. Close those brackets up, go down a line, and we're just going to enter in a normal click command. So we're going to say click, and then we're going to do a couple of them. Let's go with 5. Okay. And what we're going to do is in between them we're going to add some sleep time or some wait time, and we're going to go a half second. And rather than do it that way, I'm just actually going to copy this and paste it. I should have done it this way to begin with. Okay. So now we got 5 clicks and a wait time. And just above that, we're actually going to say pause is on. Because we need pause to be on, because if we try to run this right now, it's just going to send clicks to this run script, run script, run script over and over and over again. So we're going to save our changes. We're going to run our script. And it's paused. So now we need something to be able to show the clicks. And you can't see my cursor. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go open up my little arrow thing that I had created. And I'll bring this up so you can actually see it. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to activate my little arrow. Okay, so now you can follow my cursor around. Okay, so we have it saved and it's ready to go, and I have a game loaded up. This is Cookie Clicker, and if I click on this cookie, you can actually see the number 1 rise above it, out of it. So this is a good visualization of what we're going to be doing. Okay, so now if I hover over this and if I press my pause button, which was set to Z, it should send 5 clicks. Okay, and that's it. So that's our first command out of the way. So we're just going to comment this guy out. And we're going to go collapse this guy, and we're going to do our next one. Our next one we're going to do is click, and we're going to add hotkeys this time. Go down a line, and we're going to pick an R for a hotkey. Go down a line, and we're going to just send a click. and we're just going to send one click. But under that line, we're going to say return. So now we've got a hotkey. We're just going to save, run our script. I'm going to go back over to this game, and I'm just going to press R. And every time I press R, it does a click. Okay, so that's hotkeys out of the way. Moving along nicely. So I'm going to comment that out. This time I'm going to actually copy this because we're going to be using hotkeys for everything else now, so I might as well just save some time. Go down a few lines and write a comment saying that this is going to be click, and we're going to have our X and Y. Okay, so I'm going to paste in what I had before, except this time in our click we're going to send it to a specific location. And I have a specific location in mind. It's going to be this cookie. So in order to find this cookie, what I need to do is I need to know where it's X and Y. So if you have the script editor, up at the top of the page you have this, the active window tool or the window spy. If not, you can go to your program files. Program file, let me see. This PC, if I go in here and enter my program files, and then my AutoHotKey folder, and here it is right here. This thing right here. Alright, so anyways, I got it here. So I'm going to go over to my game, and I'm just going to click on it once just to make sure that my coordinates are locked. Then I'm going to hold the Windows button and press A, as noted down here, to freeze the display. Then I have my relative position, which is the default, which we're going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and to save time, I'm just going to copy that. Go back to our script. I can close this now. And I'm going to paste that in. So now we have an X and a Y location. If we go ahead and save our script and run it, we're going to get this. And we're going to fix that in a minute. But for now, we're just going to go over here, press R, and even if I'm over here now, it's going to move my mouse over here and send a click. So it did. It did. Alright. I'm going to press X to exit this script because now we need to. And up here, under my description, if I had my description, under my description, I'm going to say number sign, and then I want to be single instance. Okay, there it is. And then a comma and force. This way I don't have to hit that dialog box every time I try to run the script when it's already running. It'll automatically do that for me. So that's our hotkeys out of the way. And I'll just comment that out. And I'll make sure to copy this, and we can collapse that. Alright. The next thing I want to do is chord mode. So I'm going to make a comment saying click. The click command that we're going to be working on is chord mode. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say chord mode. If you remember from the first video, from the mouse move, we went over the chord mode. And so the chord mode, and then I want it to be for my mouse, and then I'm going to make it for the screen. If you don't know what this is, you're going to have to go back and watch the other video. Otherwise, you're going to be lost because I'm not going to be covering it all. And we're going to paste in our thing here, save, we're going to run, and we're going to open up the game. And now, even if this window is open, if I press my R button, for some reason sometimes the save and relaunch doesn't work. Like it's almost like as if it didn't get pressed. Okay, so I got this window open, I'm going to press R and it should go click on the cookie. Okay, there we go. So that's with our chord mode for the screen rather than the active window, which is the default. And we can move on. Make sure I have this copied. Okay, we're going to go down a couple lines. make another comment. This one is going to be click. And this one's going to get a little bit more complicated. Set set mouse delay and set default mouse speed. Okay, this one needs a little bit of an explanation. Okay, this first thing here, every time the mouse moves, it considers it an action. And every time it presses the button down, it considers it an action, and then every time it releases it back up, it considers it an action. So what we'd be doing is setting the delay in between each of those actions. So let's say if I had to move my cursor from over here to over here, it could take 10 or so moves in order for it to get there. So if I set a delay of 1 second, it would move a little bit and then wait a second, move a little bit, wait a second, move a little bit, wait a second, and so on and so forth. Mostly when you're going to be using this is when it has a default of about, what is it, 10 1,000th of a second to either that or 20 1,000th of a second, right? Or in other words, right? The only time that I've ever encountered that I would want to change it if I want to send clicks really, really quickly. So the way you would do that is to set it to -1, which is basically there's no delay between it sending a click down, click up, click down, click up. But my computer can't actually handle that. Yours probably can't either, but who knows. So basically, even if it clicks 1,000 times, it might only register 30 times because it's just clicking that fast. Okay, the second thing here, the set default mouse speed, is how fast it's going to move across my screen. And by setting this value, the value of this to 0, it's almost like as if it's teleporting. So it's like it's here one instance, and then there's no time in between it getting to here. So in order for us to use this, we're going to need to combine those two things. So we're going to first set default speed. Okay, it's already filled it for me. Perfect. Okay, and we're going to set it to 0. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to set mouse delay. And we're going to set this to 1/2 of a second. And then we're going to come down here, we're going to paste in our hotkey. And let me see, do I want to add anything else to that? Let me add a couple clicks. Alright, so I don't need to add the coordinates for the second one because it's already going to be at that location. So we're just going to save this and check out what it does. Go open our game and press R. Okay, and if you notice, it's pretty slow. Alright, give it a try. See what it does for you. Alright, I'm going to adjust this speed and we're going to make this, let's go down to 50. Save our changes. Run it, bring up our game and press R, and that did it a lot faster. Alright, X to exit, and we'll try one more thing. We'll set this to 1,000. So this is, each click is going to now take 2 seconds because clicking down takes a second and clicking back up takes a second. So we're going to go ahead and save. Run our script, bring up our game, press R. Alright, so there's that. And now we'll set this down to a little bit more reasonable speed. Why do you want to highlight everything? Alright, we're going to change this down to 200. And we're going to turn off this. We're going to set this to its default. Now what you're going to notice, it's going to, if my mouse is over here to begin with, it's going to go to about here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then finally do the clicks. So if I save, run, now if I see my cursor's over here, I'm going to press R, and you'll notice it sort of do like some jumps. Alright, I'll do it again. Alright, so that's those two things out of the way. And we can turn that back on. Alright. So that's setting the delays and the speed of the mouse for our clicks. Let's see, what do we got next? How about multi-clicks? Alright, so we're gonna do another click command. And this one we're gonna call multi. And we're just gonna paste in our hotkey. And after the Y in this one, we're gonna put a comma. And the next number that we're going to put in is how many times we actually want it to click. So let's keep it a pretty low number. So we'll go for 44. So it's going to click 44 times at its default set mouse delay speed, which is, like I said, it's about, 10 1,000th to 20 1,000th of a second each click. So we'll save it. We'll run it. Bring up our game. Press R. And there we go. It clicked 40 times or whatever I set it to. Okay, so I'm going to X to exit, and that's multiple clicks. And I can do more. I can change it to whatever I want. Run it again. Okay, so that's multiple clicks. Comment it out and minimize. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually introduce our loops finally. So click, now loops has a lot of things with it, and I'm not going to get into it on this because there's just too much things to cover, and I want to cover some other things before I bring in loops as its own subject. So this is just a basic intro to loops, and we're just going to use a simple loop. But loops can get much more complicated than what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in our hotkey with our click, and before the click, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up to loop. And we're going to start off with 20. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to close it, but I didn't actually open it, so we're going to open it. Alright, so here we got a loop. It's going to go into this, and whatever is in here, it's going to do that. So we could have multiple lines. We could say sleep for 20. Alright, and then it'll go back up to the top again and run it again. So we're just going to do that. Save, run our script, and press R. And it's the same, pretty much the same thing we had with multi. Except with this now, what we can do is, instead of doing it with 20, if we leave that blank, it's now infinite. It'll just keep going and going and going until some condition is met, and that condition is us either pressing X or pause. So we're going to go ahead and with an infinite loop now, we're going to save, we're going to run our script, go back over to the game, press R, and now it'll just keep going until I press Z to pause it, and if I hit pause again, it'll go back, pause, pause again, and then when I'm finished, I can just hit X and it's done. Alright, so that's our intro to loops and using clicks inside of loops. But like I said, this is just an intro to it. There's a lot more that you can do with this kind of thing. And we will be getting into that soon enough. Let's go down a couple lines and our next click command. What are we going to do? Let's get into buttons. Alright, we're going to paste in our hotkey, and we're going to set up 3 hotkeys. Alright, so we got R, we're going to use T, and we're going to use Y. RT and Y. Okay. The first one is just clicking left. Alright, now left is by default, so us putting left here is the same thing as if left wasn't there at all. Alright, the next one we're going to do is we're going to do right. And this is going to send a right mouse click instead. And because we're sending a right mouse click, we don't actually need a coordinates. We'll just leave it wherever it is. So we got click right, and then last we're going to have click middle. Alright, so that's going to click our middle button. And I think we have everything set up. Okay, so we're going to save, run our script, bring up our game. If I hit R, it'll go over there and click. If I hit T, it's just going to open up that window thing here. Alright, and if I hit Y over here, I'm going to come over here because this is scrollable. Actually, I already had a scrollable thing here, so if I hit Y, it allows us to scroll the page. Alright, if I come over here, hit R, T, and I can repeat those over and over again. So if I come here, Y. Alright, so moving on. What's next? Let's do buttons up and down. I think we're getting close to the end now. So there's a bunch of different commands that we can use to actually send up and down commands, because sometimes we might want a button to be held down and then have a specific time that we want it to be released, or etc., etc. So we'll go over those commands now. And I think this is the last one that we need to go over. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these keys that we have, hotkeys that we have here, just to save time a little bit. Paste those guys in. I'm going to come down another line and paste them in again. And I'm just going to go through them and change them. So this guy I'm going to change to, what's my next letter? U. The next one is going to be an I. And I'm just picking these hotkeys at random. There's no real significance to them. It could be any key you want. Alright, so we got click left, and we're going to have this one as down. And we can just leave it as a D, so that's what we're actually going to do. We're just going to say click left down, and then this one here, we're going to actually make this, we're going to copy this here, we're going to paste it in here, and we're going to change this to left and left and up. Alright, the next one we're going to change this now to right down. And this one we're going to change to right up. This one we're going to change to middle down. And this one we're going to change to middle up. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah, that looks okay. Alright, I'm going to save it, run it, and bring up my game. Alright, so the first time what it should happen is if I hit R, it should come over to this cookie, click down, but not let go. Alright, so I'm going to press R. So okay, now it's holding it down. If I hit T, it's going to go back over there and push the up. So if I hit T now, all right, R down, T up, R down, T up. Okay, good. Now with the next two keys, because we don't have a, like some applications, there's going to be more things that right button does than just this. Because if I press Y, which is the down for the right, nothing happens. If I hit up, or U for the up, then it shows it. But all I have to do is actually just do the up. I don't actually have to do the down with it. But there's probably going to be some applications where you need to have the down and the up. But in this case, up is all I need. The next one was the mouse wheel. So we're going to press I, which is going to allow me to do the scroll thing. And actually this page over here is better. You son of a bitch. Why are you doing that to me? Okay. Okay. Alright, so we're going to get a page that has a scroll ability. I'm going to press I, and now I can scroll up and down the page. If I hit O, it'll release it. If I hit I again, it goes back to scrolling. Okay, one last thing, and we're not going to actually test it, but if I take these two, the mouse wheel thing, and if I change this to WD, and get rid of that other D, and change this to W up, okay, so now basically what it's going to do, it's like as if just going to, each time I click that button, it's going to go up, 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 or down, 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 down. I don't actually have to do the mouse movement to get it to do that. Kind of like page up, page down sort of thing. Okay, so anyways, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in tutorial 2 if you want to come. And that's it.